What's happening, guys? Sam Adams here, and welcome to the Jampack Report for July the 26th of 2019. Of course, I am your host, Samuel Adams, and welcome to today's show. I do hope this one finds you well, and for those that are brand new to the podcast, this is a daily gaming news show where I let you know the hottest gaming news coming out of every little area of the gaming industry. And today we have the confirmation that Dying Light 2 is going to be a cross-generational game. That's right, coming out on both the PlayStation 4 and the Xbox One as far as consoles go. But on top of that, also Project Scarlet and whatever next PlayStation console is going to be called. Very exciting times because we are beginning to inch ever closer to that intergenerational period where we do have new consoles on the market and the old ones still thriving in the current ecosystem. Then on top of that, the Epic Games Store is introducing more and more features, but now we are starting to support cloud saves. As a matter of fact, a couple of games support them right now. Discord got a big update with server folders available to customize your servers into groups in the app itself on your PC. Dave Bautista is, of course, talking about being in a Gears of War movie, but on top of that, we now have Terry Crews getting involved, potentially if this were to ever see the light of day. Will it see the light of day? Most likely not, but hey, it's still worth talking about and dreaming about. Cyberpunk 2077 live gameplay demonstrations are to be held at Gamescom 2019. Amazon is retiring an incredibly popular video app. I have no doubt millions of people around the world use their Wii U still, especially to watch Prime Video. And then I've got some free games for you, two of which I've got this week, two of which are coming next week, but I wanted to let you know all of them today so that you can plan ahead and figure out exactly what you want to play this weekend. But that's pretty much the lineup for today's show. Again, if you are brand new here, it's hosted 5 days a week, then it's taken down from twitch.tv/Samuel Adams and then put up on youtube.com/Samuel Adams Media, as well as podcast services around the world if you did want to tune in and stay up to date on the hottest gaming news. But without further ado, let's go ahead and dive into today's top stories. First off, Dying Light 2 will be a cross-gen game, according to Techland. Is Dying Light 2 the first game to be officially announced for both current and next-generation consoles? It's usually a good bet that games releasing at the tail end of a console generation are also going to arrive on the next generation. This is fairly standard, but it's rare that developers will openly talk about these plans until new consoles are in people's homes. Not Techland, though, who is happy to confirm that Dying Light 2 was envisioned from the beginning as a cross-generation game. Techland always has an eye on the latest new toys. Chief Technology Officer Powell Rollaire, I believe I said that correctly, told WCCF Tech. To be more specific, yes, the plan since the beginning of production has been to make Dying Light 2 a cross-generation title. It's obviously too early to talk specifics. In fact, the dev won't even address what kind of upgrades this generation's more powerful Pro consoles, the Xbox One X and the PS4 Pro, will feature, though Rollaire, I believe I said that correctly this time, did confirm a 1080p target. For Xbox One X and PS4 Pro, we want to run at full HD 1920 by 1080. It's too early to specify exclusive features for more powerful consoles, but our top priority is a smooth gameplay experience, parkour, combat, etc., he told the site. Dying Light 2 continues to look impressive, having been recently shown at E3, and the game is due out in the spring for PC, PS4, and the Xbox One. And so we technically, I believe, have our first cross-gen game confirmed from Techland to be Dying Light 2. A very exciting time in the gaming industry, as I said at the beginning of the show, because we are inching ever closer to that next series of consoles, that next big piece of hardware that is going to dethrone the king, which is currently the PlayStation 4, and at least pose some kind of potential to push the industry forward. And so, what kind of games can we expect from the get-go? Of course, a lot of AAA stuff, a lot of in-house stuff, some first-party stuff from both Microsoft and Sony for their respective camps. But Dying Light 2 to be a cross-generational game is a very interesting move, but one that I don't think is completely and totally unprecedented. What's interesting is the fact that they are going ahead and putting this news out there so early on, because the way that I see it, if you say that you are going to be releasing your game on the next generation of consoles, that has a huge potential to hurt the sales of the current gen version of the game. So whenever you are looking at Dying Light 2 and you say, hey, I've got a PS4 Pro and I would love to play Dying Light 2, but if I wait a year or so, you are going to be getting the definitive edition or whatever the new edition of the game is on the next gen consoles that looks better, runs better, and overall is a better version of the game. So many people are probably going to be waiting now, which is why I think it's interesting to go ahead and say this early on, that it is going to be a cross-generational game. Of course, transparency, always a fantastic move, but more and more companies are going to be making this kind of announcement because, quite frankly, it makes sense. I wouldn't even be shocked to see stuff like The Witcher 3 be ported over to the next generation of consoles since it is coming out on the Nintendo Switch. I think that's a pretty good direction to look in. Of course, technically the Nintendo Switch is a current generation console, but ports are so easy to do these days and so fan-supported that it makes sense to bring it to the newest hardware. And so I think you're going to be seeing a ton of this kind of porting mechanic going on here for many games in the gaming industry today. But if you were curious as to what was going on with Dying Light 2, of course, still coming out on the PS4, the Xbox One, and the PC, but also going to be coming out on the next generation of consoles if you are curious as to when and how and what you are going to be playing this game on. But maybe you could be playing it on the Epic Games Store. Boy, wouldn't that ruffle some feathers. But if you do, it could support cloud saves because cloud saves are continuing to roll out on the Epic Games Store front. Epic is finally beginning to introduce a feature we have been expecting for a while, cloud saves. A player spotted the new function in the settings pages for a recent Epic Store freebie Moonlighter, and Epic boss Tim Sweeney confirmed the feature is enabled right now for a select few new games. Reddit user u/arctyczyn, what? I don't even know. Also noted this War of Mine, which went up on the store for free at the same time as Moonlighter, currently supports cloud saves too. Sweeney noted Epic has a bit more work to do before rolling it out more widely. Back in March, we reported Epic was aiming to have cloud saves as of May this year, so it's running just a tad behind on target. Still, it is good to know cloud saves are at least being worked on, and hopefully this means it won't be long until the feature is added to more games across the store. Now, this is a fantastic addition to the Epic Games lineup of features. Of course, as it stands today, the storefront is beginning to improve, but still is incredibly lackluster when it comes to features as compared to Steam and as compared to many other storefronts on the PC gaming space. And that is to the chagrin of a lot of critics because, hey, it's just not a great storefront as it stands right now. Many games are being given away for free. We will talk more about that at the end of today's show. But still, how many free games can you give away before people say, that's great, but the platform that I'm playing them on is still kind of shitty? And that's pretty much where we find ourselves at this point in time in 2019. Now, there is a Trello page that shows pretty much the layout of the land for the future of the Epic Games storefront. Many features are coming, but it's curious to see that cloud saves are being supported before basic stuff like a search functionality on the storefront. We have to be able to organize these games. We have to be able to see exactly what is going on within the world of Epic Games. And I mean, I'll pull up the Epic Games launcher right now because I was playing Moonlighter earlier. And if you go to the store, you have basically, yes, they did add a search bar. I apologize. Let me retract that statement. But there is no way to search by category. There is no way to see what's the newest game, what's the oldest game, what's on sale, stuff like that. Just basic search functionality is completely and totally absent from the game itself. You have a whole bunch of pre-orders, but then you have mixed in here stuff like Slime Rancher just randomly thrown in here. Hades, which has been out since day one. A ton of games like this that are just being slowly trickled out, and then you have a couple of... It's just a strange layout for the storefront, and something that really does need to be addressed, because you can't continue on like this, where we are just meandering along. But with that being said, the layout for the rest of 2019 does show that the Epic Games Store is going to be improving. More and more changes are going to be coming. And so it's not a complete and total loss. It's just still, in 2019, not the best storefront out there. And whenever you are directly competing with Steam and picking up Steam in that competition, you very well need to be prepared for a lot of criticism. And right now, Epic really doesn't have a leg to stand on with that. They are receiving just criticism, in my opinion. And so if you do want to dive in and check out the freebies, again, Moonlighter and this War of Mine are free right now. We'll talk more about that at the end of today's show. But it is worth talking about the fact that cloud saves are now on the Epic Games Store, at least for a couple of games, and rolling out to more in the near future. However, another new feature has been added to another piece of PC tech. Discord has new server folders, which is a feature that enables customizable server groups. The long-awaited feature is finally available. The community interaction app Discord does a lot of things really well, but its built-in organizational tools can leave a little something to be desired, particularly for people who spend a lot of time on different servers. The server list is just sort of tumbles willy-nilly down the left side of the interface, which is fine if you've only got 2 or 3 to deal with, but less than ideal if you are hanging out in a couple dozen. Enter server folders, one of Discord's top user-requested features, which is intended to address that shortcoming by enabling users to organize their servers in various ways. It's very simple, really. Servers can be dragged and dropped into folders that can be renamed and color-coded. Notifications can be dismissed by folder, and you can put folders together in groups as you see fit. There is still basically nothing much else to it. It is a small and simple thing, but sometimes the best and most useful features are these small, simple, and obvious ones that users have been screaming at you about for ages, which isn't meant to be overly critical of Discord. It's the nature of software development, really, but it was clearly aware of demand for the feature and even managed to have a little fun with it in the run-up to today's announcement. As lead news writer during America Hours, Andy Chalk did very well in covering this PCGamer.com coverage. But if you are curious as to when server folders were coming to Discord, thank God they're finally out. Now, as for me, I have been in Discord servers before. I have used Discord as a tool for whenever I was streaming on the regular to keep people up to date as to when I was going to be going live. And pretty much it's a fantastic tool for creating a community. It's a fantastic tool for bringing people together and sharing conversation and getting into chats with people. If you play games with someone, it's basically the go-to TeamSpeak replacement for 2019. But that doesn't make it a shittier or less shitty program, I suppose, whenever it comes down to the fact that it didn't have any kind of way to organize all of these servers that you were probably in. If you joined one for a Twitch stream, if you joined one for some kind of fan page, if you had your own personal server lineup, there were so many servers that sometimes it could get a little bit crowded over there on the left-hand side of the screen. And so now that we have server folders, it seems to be a fantastic fix that is definitely going to be cleaning up a server series, I suppose, is the best way to call it, near you. But if you do want to dive in, you can check out Discord for free. Again, a fantastic free service that does have Discord Turbo, which is a paid service that includes some free games per month, kind of like PlayStation Plus, if you will. Definitely worth checking out, in my opinion. But Discord is making a lot of big changes in 2019 to become pretty much a mainstay of every gaming PC. If you have a gaming PC and you play games on it, you probably want to have Discord installed. But that's just my 2 cents on the entire situation. Now, let's follow up on a story that we talked about a couple of days back. Dave Bautista says he has tried everything to be in the Gears of War movie. Of course, to catch you guys up, we also had the confirmation that Dave Bautista was wanting to be in a Gears of War movie. We know that there's one potentially in the making, but no confirmation has been made yet that he is going to be included in the entire mix. However, actor Terry Crews also seems to be interested in the project. That is very exciting. So, it seems Terry Crews agrees Bautista should play Marcus, and he'd be into playing a role in the film himself. When a Twitter user suggested the duo be included in the movie, Crews said he liked the idea very much. Damn, I like this. I like this very much, he said according to a tweet. And then a follow-up tweet, I like it a lot, posting a picture of Dave Bautista and Terry Crews together. And they both look like pretty much exactly what you would expect them to look like. Bautista and Crews playing Marcus and Augustus Coltrane Cole, respectively, would be a rather fun combination. Very little is known about the Gears of War movie, other than the fact that it's going to happen. The idea itself had been floating around since Xbox 360 heyday, but only gained momentum in the last couple of years. The most recent update was back in 2017, when the project had a writer attached, but who knows if that is still the case. For his part, Gears boss Rod Ferguson told IGN last month that he would love to have Bautista play Marcus Phoenix, but that decision wasn't ultimately up to him. This would be so dang cool, you cannot believe it. Of course, right now, Terry Crews at the pinnacle of popularity, of fame, if you will, because he is, of course, part of pretty much everything you could imagine. He's on TV, he's in movies, he's a big activist, and on top of that, he was the pretty much front runner for Crackdown 3, so he's very invested in the gaming space overall. As a matter of fact, I believe it was Jay's 2 cents that made Terry Crews a PC, if I remember correctly. He has had a gaming PC built for him. He's in the space, and he is not kidding around. He is very much so invested in the world of gaming, and so to see him take a forefront leading role in Gears of War would make perfect sense, especially alongside Dave Bautista. But the big question is, will this actually ever see the light of day? As much as fans want it, and as much as Rod Ferguson wants it, I don't know if we will ever see a Gears of War movie actually come out. Of course, video game movies have had a very tough time as of late, but Detective Pikachu seemed to do fairly well. However, outside of these animated films, you do have difficulties when it comes to stuff like Tomb Raider, when it comes to stuff like Assassin's Creed, which we saw with Michael Fassbender a couple of years back. Video game movies just don't translate well. Video games tend to thrive in their own native format, and that's pretty much what we find in the industry today. I would love for it to be another way, but as it stands today, video game movies just don't work out. Whether the people that would normally support the games don't go see the movies, or whether the movies fall short ultimately, I don't know what the overall solution would be to fix this problem, but right now, they just aren't worth the investment, in my opinion. I would love to say something different, but I simply can't. So to invest the money that it would take for Dave Bautista and Terry Crews to get on board, that's a lot of cash, and I would love for it to be a different show. That's a lot of money. So if you were curious about Dave Bautista and Terry Crews playing in a Gears of War movie, it could happen, but it's very unlikely. However, Cyberpunk 2077 is getting a live gameplay demo to be held at Gamescom 2019. Those attending Gamescom 2019 will be able to watch live demos of Cyberpunk 2077, of course, coming in April of 2020. Entertainment Area Pass holders will be able to watch Cyberpunk 2077 being played by members of the dev team at the games booth located in Hall 6, stand C049. These presentations will take place between August 21st and the 24th. If you are into crossplay, wow, that would be great, wouldn't it? But if you're into cosplay, not anything related to tech, there is a Cyberpunk 2077 cosplay event going on during Gamescom as well. Of course, you can find out more about that, but if you did want to check out some gameplay, you can watch some people play it at Gamescom 2019. I wanted to mention this simply because I guarantee you some off-screen grabs with people zooming in on their iPhones and or professional camera equipment is going to be available online, so go ahead and prepare yourselves for some shaky handheld camera footage of Cyberpunk 2077, but hopefully around the same time we are going to be getting some gameplay. I know that they were going to reveal some gameplay around Gamescom 2019, or at least the week after Gamescom, so maybe we could be getting it a bit early, maybe we could be seeing it released during Gamescom, whatever it might be. I would love some more gameplay of Cyberpunk because I'm already sold on the project. I love the project. I love the idea. I'm definitely down for it, but hey, I love some more gameplay whenever I can get my hands on it. So if you are going to Gamescom 2019, number one, safe travels, be careful, enjoy your time there, but number two, Cyberpunk 2077, baby, let's get it. But maybe you don't want to go to Gamescom. Maybe you want to stay home and watch some Netflix. But if you don't have Netflix, what else do you have? You probably have Amazon Prime. And if you've got Amazon Prime, you've got Prime Video. And if you have a Wii U, there has traditionally been a Prime Video app on the Wii U. But unfortunately, Amazon is retiring the Prime Video app from the Wii U. And then the question, Prime Video is on Wii U? Yeah, apparently. Who would have thought? As of the 26th of September, Wii U owners will no longer be able to access Amazon Prime Video from their devices. It had to happen at some point. Prime Video users have been receiving emails informing them of the bad news and offering $25 credit towards buying certain Fire TV devices to help cushion the blow. We are continually upgrading our service, and this occasionally means we can no longer support certain device models, the email states. To help you continue streaming your favorite content, we are offering you a $25 credit towards select Fire TV devices, which will allow you to continue to stream your favorites from Prime Video. Luckily for the 3 or so people that still use their Wii U to stream video, you still have access to apps like Netflix, YouTube, and Hulu in the US anyways. Amazon Prime Video is still yet to come to the Switch, so as of September, you will have to look somewhere other than your Nintendo device to continue any shows exclusive to the platform, such as Good Omens and I guess Sneaky Pete. Those are the two that come to mind. Not too much quality Amazon. Oh, The Tick, which I believe got canceled. That was also an option. But I wanted to let you know, mainly because who knows who's out there maybe still using a Wii U. I know that some people bought the device. I know that some people like the device. Not too many people are going to be saying that one in public, but hey, I'm sure they're out there. So if you still use your Wii U, just know that the time is coming whenever you are going to have to retire the sweet, sweet prince in exchange for something potentially better. Interesting to see that Amazon is offering $25 to those that are willing to go ahead and adopt a brand new Fire TV stick. They're just like, hey, since you still use the Wii U, here's $25. Just go get a Fire TV stick and get rid of this thing. But to be fair, I don't even know if you could trade in a Wii U for $25 at this point, or even sell one on Craigslist for $25. However, if you do still play with the Wii U. I'm not digging on it or ragging on it, as the kids say. I'm just saying it's not that good a piece of hardware. However, maybe you have a PC, and if you do, you can install the Epic Games launcher for free. And if you do that, some free games are coming your way. This week, get Moonlighter and This War of Mine free on the Epic Games Store, with For Honor and Alan Wake coming next week. The Epic Games Store is offering Moonlighter and This War of Mine free this week, and up next is Ubisoft's For Honor and Remedy's Alan Wake. And of course, you can check the first two out, again, Moonlighter and This War of Mine, out until August the 2nd. Moonlighter is an adorable shopkeeper RPG from Digital Sun that puts you in charge of supplying adventurers' needs. Doing so will allow you to upgrade the shop and eventually hire help just to keep up with supply and demand. The thing is, you aren't just a helpful shopkeeper, you are also an adventurer. Come nightfall, you will traverse dungeons for loot to sell during the day. Have no fear, you will also find equipment along the way to help keep you safe from harm. A new batch of DLC was released for the game this week. Called Between Dimensions, it adds new creatures to current dungeons and populates the all-new interdimensional dungeon with many bosses. It also features new weapons, armor, shop items, and rings as well. But if you are in the mood for more serious fare, the rather excellent This War of Mine might be your cup of tea. The strategy/management survival game explores how war affects the certain civilian, and you are tasked with keeping them alive in a war-torn country. You will need to make difficult decisions, and what you decide will have an impact on all citizens. A new expansion is currently in the works for This War of Mine. Called Fading Embers, it features a story-driven scenario that tells the story of Anja living in a war zone. Her burden is trying to decide what is more important, survival of the human legacy or the survival of a man. Come August 2nd, both games will be replaced by Ubisoft's strategy fighter For Honor and Remedy's Alan Wake. Once available, both will be a free download until August the 9th. Of course, Epic Games is celebrating the launch of their platform throughout the entirety of 2019 by giving away 2 free games per week. That's a lot of games, and this week's are pretty impressive. Next week's, I would say, even more impressive. Of course, Moonlighter is the standout in my opinion this week. I've been playing around with it a bit, and the coolest part is that it does have full controller support, full DualShock support. That is all functional on the Epic Games Store front, and it's a very, very fun little game. If you like the dungeon crawler kind of exploration, almost management simulator combined with Enter the Gungeon, it's that kind of experience. I'm a big fan, and I bet you would be too. This War of Mine, of course, an indie darling that has been out for a couple of years now. Plenty of DLC if you do enjoy the base game, which again is free on the Epic Games Store front. Next week, For Honor and Alan Wake. Ooh, you should definitely dive in and give all these a shot. And as I always say, why wouldn't you? Because they're free. Go ahead, log on, get those games in your folder. Even if you don't play them immediately, you could have them for the future whenever you are bored in the middle of fall. Just kidding, it's an incredibly busy fall season. But that rounds out today's episode of the Jampack Report. Of course, thank you so much for checking out the show. If you are brand new, subscribe via the podcast feeds. Hit that subscribe button on YouTube. Follow on twitch.tv/SamuelAdams, or just keep up with me at Pretty Chill Guy on Twitter to know everything that is coming down the pipe from yours truly. And on top of that, some stuff that might not be coming down the pipe. Just general thoughts and discussions about my coffee pot that I'm buying. I bought a coffee pot. It's coming tomorrow. Very exciting time. But you guys have a fantastic rest of the weekend. I will talk to you soon, and enjoy the rest of your day. Peace.